What is up, guys? Merry Christmas. Welcome
Merry
back
Christmas.
to Everything Goes. We have Noah in the studio with us today, and we are going to get to it. So let's do it.
Been lit, boy. Everything goes.
We now return you to regular programming.
Let's kick us off.
Well, first of all, it's awesome. It's Christmas. You know, it's nice outside. We have TNK in the studio today doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Long awaited.
Finally got me on.
Wait, TNK, that's us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
TNK.
Oh,
yeah. See,
I got
See?
it. I
So-
understand that one. Well, you got to go to the Eagles and Dallas game. Feel free to share the experience with us, how it went.
it was a lot of fun. And like I said, to Hunter and them, it felt like we were at a NASCAR event because there was like tents, flags for as far as you could see. I mean, miles and miles of fans everywhere. A lot of Cowboys fans.
Was
Impressed
there?
Cowboys fans.
Was
A
there
lot of Cowboys fans walking around. And you didn't see too much torment until I think kickoff. That's when you start seeing it. You know,
Yeah.
the beer's already been flowing. You know, you can see people stumbling in. And I saw a couple people, man, the best bet is to keep your mouth shut and not say anything.
Tough game to watch. It definitely looked like the Eagles came ready to play and Dallas did.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it.
I seen it in warm-ups. Just the atmosphere. I mean, the Eagles, they were ready to play. They were so pumped up.
Absolutely rival game like
You
that.
said even their huddle, they were all fired up.
Yeah,
Dallas
they
was
were
just kinda
fired up.
there.
They were dancing to the music. They were loose. They just were ready. And everyone talked like Dallas had this. It was an easy victory for Dallas because of past records and Zeke being undefeated. And
I always hate when they bring up all that hype and you end up losing.
it's a bad sign. And that's all we heard going down on the radio in the car. How Zeke averaged 115 yards against them. Jason Garrett 7-2 against them. Just had a bad vibe.
Yeah,
I just think it was that environment too. I mean, if that game's in Dallas, I think
different story.
I think it's a different story. But
You saw
that,
with
that
their
crowd, that first drive was so loud.
you saw
just
with
knew
their
it.
defense too. I mean, their defense came out on fire. I mean, your
Oh,
defense
Jim.
was flat.
Jim Schwartz, he basically told the Cowboys, if you're going to beat me, you're going to beat me with Dak.
Yeah,
I mean, they played 9 in the box. They played a one safety high over the top. But the field was open. But the drop balls, and we did not hit any of those big plays.
25 and 44 with not even a touchdown.
Didn't hit any of the big plays to the fourth quarter. That's when we started driving. By then, it's too late.
Yeah.
And it was just
Crucial
too late.
drops by Gallup.
What sucks
and
is
Cooper.
watching that game. You saw Dak miss key plays. You know,
It's frustrating.
deep touchdown passes, but then he would hit wide open Gallup or Cooper wide open right through their hands. So you could blame Dak for inaccurate passes, but you also got to blame the receivers for not catching those passes.
And you know what? At this point in the season, I'm no longer angry. I'm just accepting what it is.
Used to it.
You know what? I think Vegas nailed it. Vegas is the only one that had us under 10 wins, 9 wins.
Vegas projected you to win at least 14 of those games.
14.
Not
I don't know.
14. I mean,
No.
I'm agreeing with you. 10 games.
No,
That sounds
no.
stupid
Vegas
now.
had us down at 9 games, and they asked the players after the game, and a lot of them. The thing that irritates me is Michael Bennett is the only one that's really fired up in that locker
He
room.
looked good on
he
your
is
defense
mad.
yesterday.
He's fired up that these guys aren't fired up.
Sean Lee's playing his heart out too.
Yeah. And then you have guys like Jalen Smith coming out after a loss, tweeting about his business, not even caring that they lost. It's just, it had to suck for Dallas, though, because after they lost that game, their plane broke down, and they had to sit on the
there.
buses at the stadium for almost 3 hours.
Wow.
The time to think about that loss.
Yeah.
I think even if I was a Dallas fan, I wouldn't even want Dallas to win this. I wouldn't even want to go to the playoffs because I truly feel like Jason Garrett should get fired. I think you guys need a new fit there. I think you need new faces.
I agree with that to a point, and a lot of it, like all the big name people that are on these big ESPNs and Fox and all these, they're saying that you don't need a coach to get you fired up for a game like this. You as a player should be fired up. Travis Frederick said it.
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
did.
if
I mean,
these
he
guys
definitely-
aren't getting up for because they talked about the whole rah-rah speech that Jason Garrett did last week. He showed a video and got them all pumped up. You shouldn't have to do that. These are professional athletes that should be pumped up for every game.
You know it's online.
And it seems like the guys that got paid just, like I said before, Super Bowls don't really matter anymore. It's bonus money for them.
And we said that on the last podcast that you going against the Eagles had nothing to lose.
No.
And you think about their defense. Their defense is backups.
And now there's
And their offense is backups, and they came out
They
playing
wanted
like
it
they
more.
were a 99 overall team. They came out playing with heart. I mean, that defense was fired up all game.
Yeah, it just and going into Oxnard next year, this is going to be a whole different Cowboys team. It's going to be a whole different staff probably. There's a lot of players on 1-year deals. Quinn, Cobb, you got Byron Jones who might be gone. You have an Anthony Brown that might be gone. You have a lot of guys that could. Amari Cooper. They're talking about maybe possibly trading him away to New England or something like that.
How long is he under contract for?
He's a free agent this year, but they transition
How
tag
can they
him.
trade him?
They tag him and then trade him.
My biggest thing is, I said this a lot, but like I don't understand what's happened with him. I know he was dealing with injuries, but
I don't think he's healthy.
Watching
I
that,
don't either.
watching
Yeah, I
that
don't think he's
game against the Eagles, it looked like he didn't even want to be there.
Well,
And
I'm
at
sure
this-
he was frustrated. That was a coach. If that was a coach's rotation, I mean, if I was a star receiver and I saw my coach taking me out of the game in the last minute, I'd be frustrated too. Like,
Yeah, and
you want
that's
to be in the game.
That's what I didn't understand too. There was two things I didn't understand about the game, and it was on both sides. The one, the Eagles had the ball in like the Cowboys 30, and it was 3rd and 1. And instead of, what's Wentz 6'5"? Instead of going to an I set or a running back set, they went to the shotgun. And he threw it on 3rd and 1, missed the play. 4th and 1, they went back to the same play, shotgun again. Like, if you can't get a first down on 3rd and 1 by just doing a quarterback sneak, then what the hell are you doing? And then the whole 4th and 8 with the Cowboys, Randall Cobb got you down that field.
you
Randall
pull
Cobb
him.
was your guy,
And you
yeah.
call a 12 personnel set on your freaking last play of the game. And you
Season
bring
on the
in
line.
Jarwin, you bring in Witten, and you bring in Tavon Austin, and you take out Randall Cobb and Amari Cooper.
My biggest thing with that play too is they knew they were going to Gallup right away, even though he was covered. They didn't look at anybody.
They said the plan was to go to Witten on a hook
But he
route.
didn't hesitate. He threw that ball up right away.
Witten,
Like, they didn't
Witten was,
look at any
Witten was
options.
covered. Yeah.
I mean, and you see how Witten, like, he never dropped balls. He dropped at least like 3 or 4 passes this year. Like, is he really the go-to option on that play? I mean, you have a star receiver who you're waiting to pay, and you're keeping him on the sideline. And
The thing that aggravates me the most about the Cowboys is they don't adjust to the game. They don't adjust.
predictable
You-
second half.
And why on like a 4th and 1 is Kellen Moore calling an option play, not to Zeke, but to freaking Pollard?
Yeah.
So now Dak options it fast. So now you went from a 4th and 1 to a 4th and 7 because he's so deep, and then he fumbles the ball anyway. But
Yeah.
it's just
I mean, as a fan of football, I think one of the biggest things is on paper, Dallas has an amazing team.
they do.
You have one of the best running backs in the league, probably a top 10 quarterback, if not higher. You
And
have
that's
one of
what's-
the top 10 wide receivers. You have top 10 defensive players. You should have had the best linebacking core. Obviously Van Der Esch goes down.
That's another thing.
That's
right
tough.
there.
But still, you have
And that's
two
another
good-
thing. He had
We don't
surgery.
know.
He's having surgery.
You still have. I think he had a disc with some of his discs, but you still have 2 good linebackers there. You have great cornerbacks. It's just like, why is it not there?
That's another thing. Like Cheeto Awuzie, he's coming up on a contract year. It's like, what are we gonna do with him? Because he's been so.
Well, he got benched
inconsistent.
in the game.
Yeah,
he
it's
got
like-
benched for not. The thing that really aggravates me and pisses me off is they say that we want to run like an aggressive cornerback sets where they're up on the line battling with the receivers. But if you watch the games, they're never up on the line. They're always like in a zone.
Yeah.
And Cheeto, he just got burned so many
It's-
times.
Every time he's there, it's like he's there covering, but like he's not there. Like he never turns his head. He never makes a play. He's just there.
The Eagles had 2 plays that whole game. They had the handoff to the running back, the screen to the running back,
Well, I mean,
and the screen like the short passes to the tight ends.
You gotta
I mean,
respect
Sanders had
Miles
79
Sanders.
yards rushing one time. He's the threat out there. Whether it's
I think
receiving,
that's a
whether
future
it's
back right
But
there.
they had no threats as far like what was Wentz 31 or 40?
He was-
All of his throws were to the running back and to like the tight ends underneath. He had a couple to the receivers
319
outside.
passing
Ward
yards,
had a couple.
Only 1 touchdown.
Gotta credit Wentz. That was his biggest game of his career, I think. And
It was like a playoff game for me. He's
I
never
know,
played in a playoff game, and he handled it well.
Max Kellerman was trying to discredit him, but
Nah,
you can't take that away. He
you
got the
can't.
job done.
You can't.
No
And
matter, no matter what.
we just got to hope the Giants step up this week. But at this point, I don't.
Yeah,
You know what?
it's a
I
good
really
thing with
don't.
NFC
I don't even
East.
think we deserve to go. And if they're talking about letting like Amari Cooper's not worth $20 million. No way.
I think
so.
I think if the Eagles even get into the playoffs, I don't see them going
Well,
past
it's-
the first round.
Could be a dream come true. We can
It
lose
could be.
Jason Garrett and make the playoffs at 8-8.
Yeah. But I think what they should have did is after the Chicago game, if they were going to make a change, they should have did
Would've
it
been
then, because you
Or the
still had
Buffalo
you still
game.
had a bunch of games left where you could have actually seen if it makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole problem is now is if, and I said this to Noah before, when you bring in a new coach, if he brings in a whole new offensive scheme again, now this is Dak's 3rd offensive coordinator in what 4 years, 5 years, 4 years. It's crazy.
My thing is,
It's tough.
I think Dallas needs a coach like a Bill Parcells, Sean Payton, one of these coaches that's Bill Belichick. A coach is going to come in and not really worry about Jerry Jones. He's going to be the man. But then on the other side, you saw that in Jimmy Johnson. Look what happened. They bumped heads and he ended up firing him.
Well,
I truly think Jerry Jones wants a puppet man in there, but he wants a good coach at the same time. You can't get both those guys.
The thing is this year too, like they have a lot of decisions to make as far as personnel because the draft is loaded with receivers.
Absolutely.
And if we can get like the 15th pick, which I think we're projected like for the 15th to 17th,
all you really need.
We can get a CD Lamb or someone like that. You know, you can let Amari Cooper go. Whatchamacallit, Gallup will be your number one.
Gallup and Randall Cobb are
re-sign
still
Cobb.
two good receivers you could have. You throw in a number one in there.
Because if we sign Dak and we sign Amari Cooper, 75% of our salaries is going to be going to 8 players.
And you still have a
you
lot
can't
of
build a
defensive players
championship
to
team with
re-sign.
freaking that. You
You
can't.
got a lot of defensive players you need to keep.
I also heard something about them benching Amari or whatever in that last play. They're going to use that against them in the contract talks.
Well, they said they didn't bench, and Jason Garrett came out and says rotation,
Yeah,
but that's
come
bullshit.
on. You don't do that.
My
in the
biggest
last
thing is
play.
why are you rotating receivers
And
on
that's
the
another
biggest
thing
game of the year?
That comes down to coaching. That's another thing about Jason Garrett. That
Well, the thing that stinks is Dallas is now 1-6 in games where they have 8 points. They lose by 8 points or less, which is, at least we found our kicker. I mean, our kicker, Kai Forbath, has
Did a
been
great
really
job
good
you
for the
guys.
last
Those
2
are
weeks.
Deep kicks in
Yeah.
a windy area in a loud environment.
I
He
mean-
did a really good job.
we were talking last night about the draft full of kickers. That kid from Alabama, even Moody, or what's his name from Michigan?
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be a good one.
Draft's loaded with kickers.
Yeah. But the biggest question now is did Dak's agent wait too long to sign a contract? Because
Listen,
I think the money's going down now.
I think at this point they're going to franchise tag him.
I don't think you franchise Dak. I still think Dak is your quarterback. Dak is putting up career stats this year. I mean, he can't win you every. I mean, there's got to go more into a game than just win.
But
I mean,
my
just
thing
the
is,
quarterback playing well.
But my thing is Dak the quarterback that can lead you to a victory, and that's what's hurting us right now.
But I mean, you saw those last couple of drives though. Like he was driving you down the field.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, though, my biggest thing with Dak this year is you can't wait until like the end of the third quarter going into the fourth quarter. Where is
But
that?
you were more of a
that-
second half team this year.
But that's what
true.
they're
get
saying.
that,
They're
but-
saying a lot of Dak's stats are padded because they're always trailing, so he
So
had
you
to
have to
throw for
throw.
40 to 50
Yeah.
times a game. That's why it looks like his. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
But is he the quarterback that'll take you to the next level?
I mean, you think every year Dak's been putting up better numbers. I mean,
Yeah.
I think this is your man.
But this is-
I don't think you sign him for the money he's asking. I think you come to the table and be like, listen, this is the money, and it's either you won or you're gone. Like, just pick one.
Well, the thing is too is you could always draft another quarterback.
Yeah,
you really
there's
can.
a lot of talent.
There is a lot of
There
talent.
is.
You
I
could
think-
always draft another quarterback, and you can go 5 more years with a rookie contract.
No matter what, no matter how long you sign a quarterback for, no matter how much you're going to hear criticism for it. But
I
I
think
don't
this,
think 40 million is the answer. Like, how much is he's going to get?
I think there's 2 things that have to change. The scheme for the defense has to change too. I love Marinelli, but I think he's stuck.
he
He's
has
stuck
to
in
go.
the old days. He's got to go. We need a more aggressive. What they need to do is just turn the reins over to Richard and let him take control of it, and see if that changes it. I think offensively, I think you have to keep Kellen Moore. I think it's only his first year. I think he's
Yeah.
got to stay.
I think
agree.
you saw some good signs, and but I
Yeah.
think there was a
He
little bit
showed-
of Jason Garrett sticking his hand in there and not
If they-
allowing him to expand his playbook.
If they bring in Lincoln Riley, he's a quarterback coach. He's always improved quarterbacks play. So
Josh McDaniels.
that'll be a good one.
I think
Josh
you need
McDaniels
a
will be
good
another
I think
one.
you need a
Offensive
good
mind.
quarterback coach with Dak.
Yeah.
I mean, who do you really have there to coach Dak?
Kitten has really
Kitten
turned him
helped.
around.
Helped his
He
footwork.
really has.
Bring in Romo.
Yeah, but
Coach.
a little side news, you had Seattle sign Marshawn Lynch and what's his name, Turbin? What's his name, Turbin?
Yeah, they had
He's a
to.
Cowboy.
They had to because they lost all their running backs.
They lost
I mean,
Carson.
they
They
lost-
lost. I don't. I
Did you
think
see the
it's-
picture?
They lost Promise, they lost Penny, and they lost Carson.
And what sucks is Penny. Penny was getting hot, and Penny was a good option when they first drafted, and then he started to slow down, and he was getting hot. Him and Carson looked like a good duo, and now they're both injured.
We know what this week coming up is huge for them because Seattle plays the 49ers. I think the loser of that game becomes the wild card team.
Yeah, well, if the 49ers lose, the Saints somehow become the number 1 seed, even though Green Bay's ahead of us. It's like a weird scenario there. So I need I need them to lose.
They said
that photo, though.
they're still who's that?
That's Robert Turbin.
Wow.
And
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
They
Yeah,
Picture
he's
of
huge.
Him, and
Him
that's-
and Metcalf.
That's DK Metcalf.
They say there's still a chance that the Green Bay Packers could get the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
It's still wide open. This week's gonna be very important.
My biggest thing is that you think about how well the Saints play in the Dome and how loud that crowd gets. If we can get the number 1 seed, you get a bye. play someone in the dome.
All those places are rough. Seattle's
I
tell you what, though,
even Philly.
The thing that I'm applauding is what the NFL is doing for this week. They actually changed the time of the Eagles game and the Cowboys game.
That's
Well, you
smart.
have to.
So they both have to play at the same time. So
you
no
can't
one's
blow
gonna
the game.
no one's gonna rest anybody. So it's gonna be awesome watching the Cowboys, hoping that we win. Haskins is out. See
Saquon's
if
on fire,
see if
so-
we can. Yeah, the Giants had a great week last week. Jones,
it
he threw for 350 yards. He's the first
Jones
rookie,
looked good. Him
first
and Eli
rookie
were
quarterback.
playing
Yeah,
flip cup, whatever it was in the bar.
he's the first rookie quarterback to throw for 350 yards, 5 touchdowns, and no picks in a game. They had over 500 yards of total offense. That was their best outcome. And let's face it, they want to end on a high note. They have a lot of receiving weapons. The Eagles are kind of hurting on defense. They have a lot of injuries from the last game. Dallas is in trouble. I mean, they lost another offensive lineman. Sulafilo's out. He broke his leg. They're going to bring in James Looney. He's going to be playing left guard.
I saw
Very,
that, yeah.
very important game this week.
I was thinking the other day, if you had to give a team like an award for like the best team to play this year, you got to think about how the Steelers have handled diversity this year.
Miami.
Yeah. But they had
I
a big,
I mean,
they had a big
Miami-
letdown.
Yeah.
Miami's doing good, but the Steelers are still in playoff hunts with
Yeah.
how much they've lost. Antonio
they-
Brown's gone, Le'Veon
They
Bell's
lost
gone,
the
Big
game they
Ben's
shouldn't have
gone.
lost. They lost to the Jets.
You can see the same
they're
about
both,
the Raiders,
both their
too.
quarterbacks went down.
Big Ben said he might never play.
Rudolph came in after Hodges went down, and then Rudolph went down.
Oh, see,
They need to draft.
I only saw a little bit of on the big
And
screen.
Rudolph was looking good.
Yeah, but he makes a lot of mistakes. Though.
No. Now, Big Ben did come out and say that he might be retiring, and then there's rumors that the Steelers might be looking at Teddy Bridgewater, possibly Eli Manning. I think Eli could still spin the ball.
Eli can. I think he can too.
I think Teddy would be a good fit there.
But
Starter,
if
though,
if he
sorry.
does go to like a Pittsburgh, it's not going to be a $20 million deal like he got with the Giants.
not
It's
at
gonna
all.
it's gonna probably
Yeah,
like in the
1 year deal.
15 range, 17 range. I think if you want longevity, you
would
want
be
Teddy
good.
Bridgewater.
You think because he can run a little bit, and you got James Conner, you got Juju Smith who he could throw to. That's an amazing defense they've built around. Pittsburgh is always known for a very well known defense, though.
Well, this is going to be a very important week because you think about it, the Cowboys are going to have to come out with everything because a lot of these guys are playing for their jobs.
Yep.
And
Coaching for the job.
And I think the Redskins last week allowed 50% of the third downs to be completed. So that's what really killed Dallas against the Eagles. They got to bounce back. You got to have a huge game, a huge year to finish out the year. And see what they can do. It's going to be a waiting game. It's going to be very, very sad because we were in first place all year. To lose it in the last week of the second last week of the season, it's going to really suck.
We don't deserve it though.
Yeah.
Did you see that new video of the Raider Stadium?
No. Oh yeah. You
Looks like
showed me that
looks like
yesterday.
the Death Star.
Yeah.
Are they sharing that stadium with somebody?
I don't think so.
Who
No,
was
it's
going to be
Vegas.
sharing? It's
LA.
the Rams and the
Yeah.
Chargers, right?
Yeah, Vegas.
That stadium, though, man. I'm pretty sure I remember watching a model video. What that big black like dome-looking thing you have? I'm pretty sure that opens up where the
think
fans
so.
will be sitting, and you'll be looking at Vegas when you're playing. But the Raiders, I think they're 7-8 right now.
Yeah.
They have a chance to make the playoffs. There's 10 things that need to
Yeah, a
happen,
lot of things that
but the
happen.
5 hardest things happened already. The only thing that needs to happen now, right? I have it here. They have to win. Obviously, they got to beat the Broncos, which they could do. Ravens have to beat the Steelers. That can easily happen.
Yeah, well-
Texans have to beat the Titans. That could happen. And then all you need is either New England, Chicago, or like someone else to win.
See, I think the Texans have to play everyone though because they're a game up on Tennessee, I believe.
And the Ravens don't though.
Yeah.
Ravens
But-
aren't playing
yeah.
anyone.
Jim
But
Harbaugh.
RG3's playing. RG3 could beat the
Jim
could beat the
Harbaugh
Steelers.
came out and
He's got
said.
no hope.
Jim Harbaugh came out and said that
Mark
he's
Ingram?
sitting Lamar. They won 11 in a row. They wrapped up their first ever number 1 seed and bye. Do you agree with not playing him?
Yeah.
So like
I think I would play him like a series or two just to keep him fresh.
Yeah, it was always tough for me when I
'Cause you
think
think-
about when I
He's
think
the
about
MVP
having
though.
when I think about having like a bye, right, going into playoffs. I always get nervous because you have almost 2 weeks
2
off.
weeks off.
And it's like
That
now
is
you think about Lamar, he's gonna have like almost 4 weeks
And
off.
how many times have we seen that where
quarterback
guys
gets
sat
cold.
teams and they come back and they get beat in the playoffs?
The Cowboys.
So I kind of agree. Maybe put him in there just the first quarter. First quarter, get him a couple
Yeah.
reps.
J.J. Watt
But-
is huge. He's coming back to help the Texans in the playoffs.
You got a mobile quarterback like Lamar, you're risking injury. You put him in there though.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still practicing and stuff. So I mean, I guess they're not like technically like, just
Yeah,
like
it's not like he's not getting reps.
they're
Yeah,
still,
but you don't. The thing about practices is you don't really get. You're not getting.
I mean, when they play against the first string defense,
And you just gotta look at
players.
how he's done this year. Like he deserves. 2 weeks off. Like he's being such key defenses. Like he's the MVP.
I think he's that guy though that no matter how long he sits out, he's still gonna come out and be fine.
Yeah, he's. I don't know.
How about Des Bryant saying that he wants to come back next year? He's going to train in the offseason. He's going to be 100% committed to being a red zone threat.
We've heard
And
that.
the only teams that he said he'll come back for are Dallas, New Orleans, the Patriots, or Kansas City.
What happened to him coming back like October?
Well, he was supposed to come back this year, but
Yeah.
I
No,
think
he's
you,
done.
I don't think he's done. If you watch those videos of him training, he still has it.
He's
But
done.
if you look at his Twitter, he's always posting about podcasts and stuff like that. So I can see him going to like a network analyst type of role.
You think about how many receivers are still pretty old in this league. I mean, you get the right quarterback in there, they can still make you look good. Him coming
matter if he
to New Orleans,
he can stay
him and
healthy.
Drew Brees could be a really good red zone threat.
You see the Bengals wrapped up the number 1 pick with the loss to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Joe
They say that
Burrows.
they're all in for the quarterback from LSU. I think that's going to be good for them because I think it's time for the Red Rocket to go.
I think it's going to keep AJ Green in Cincinnati too.
Yeah.
Isn't he a young
I want
quarterback?
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, so-
And
so
you know
got
what's
Joe
funny
Mixon.
is there's not a lot of teams that want a quarterback, and if he can drop a little low,
A lot of
all I'm
people
saying, have him train under Drew Brees. I love Taysom Hill. Don't get me wrong, but Teddy Bridgewater's gone this year. Let's be real. I want Jalen Hurts. He's my guy.
Yeah, I think the Steelers, I have this note down, the Steelers are tied with Tennessee at 8-7. They need a win plus help to get in.
Well, just on a little side note, Madden came out and made Michael Thomas in the 99 overall club, just if you guys play Madden and wanted to know. But he also passed Marvin Harris, who had 143 receptions in the Indianapolis Colts in 2002. So Thomas moved ahead of him in the Hall of Fame and broke that record when he got his 11th catch against Tennessee Titans. So,
I know you're happy about that.
I'm not going to go off of Michael Thomas. I know you don't like when I go off on him. He's the best
No.
receiver in the league right now. But
I don't agree with that, but that's fine.
I'm very just curious. Who do you think's better than him?
I don't know. I'd have to look at the notes.
Because he leads almost every stat this year.
Yeah,
Antonio Brown.
but see, the thing that you're not understanding is
Drew Brees throws him a lot.
When
Drew
you
Brees, he's got no
average-
weapons. He's got no weapons. Drew Brees throws him all. Drew Brees is injured.
No,
it's
now
all
you're
because
on
Drew
here. You're on the
Brees.
podcast, okay? When you're a receiver that averages 14 looks and get 12 targets a game and you catch 12 receptions, you're going to lead every category.
I
So
get
what's wrong with
but-
that though?
Nothing. But I'm just saying. You're saying you're saying he's the best.
He is.
But the problem is you don't have guys that have one good receiver on a team. Most teams have 2-3 good receivers where they're each getting about 6 or 7 targets.
It's almost like you saying like, oh, Lamar can run so much, so
Or-
he's the best quarterback. But the only reason he's good is because he gets to
You
run
see
a
what I'm
lot.
saying, right?
I do, but I won't discredit him because at the same time, it's like when people say Zeke's only good because of his offensive line. It's like, oh, well,
There's
I had
always
the
like an
offen-
excuse
Yeah,
for
I mean,
people's
so
performance. That's what I'm just trying to
it's
get
not
at.
Mike-
But I'm saying you're never going to see a
No.
DeAndre Hopkins put up those numbers because you have a Kenny Stills there and you have that other guy Fuller who's always hurt.
My biggest
But-
thing is when you watch Michael Thomas, this guy has the best guys covering, but he always gets
Yeah.
open.
But see,
And if you're open, why not throw to him?
that's fine. That's fine.
And, I mean,
but the
Hopkins
problem
doesn't
is
have
like
Drew Brees.
I said to you, if you get a great defense that takes Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara away,
Who's done it yet though? Nobody.
Dallas did.
Dallas did not take him out of the game.
Not this year.
Dallas
Not this game.
You didn't put up your best numbers against
You
Dallas.
look at almost every game. He's put at least
Dallas
10.
shut them down.
You look at
Yeah, but we lost.
You look at
yeah,
all the
I
games.
know because we didn't move the ball.
You
but-
look at all the games this year. Michael Thomas is averaging over 10 catches a game. No one stopped
but
him
he
this
didn't.
year.
He didn't put 10 catches up against Dallas.
I'm just saying, man.
But I'm saying, when you
I
get
won't
when you get
discredit
into
him.
a playoffs and you go against the 49ers,
Who
are
we
you-
put up amazing
are
numbers
you-
against.
But I'm saying that you think that's not going to be. Do you think coaches aren't smart enough
Coaches
now?
are smart. I'm just saying,
Well,
man.
what are his postseason stats? Do we have those?
No, I don't have those up. We're not that
No.
good yet.
Well, I'm just saying. Like,
We're not that good yet.
But and
simple
what
search.
you're
That'll
saying
tell
is
you how he's
fine.
doing
He had a
in the
great
playoffs.
year for them. But look at Dallas. This is the first year Dallas had 2 1,000 receiving yard receivers in the league. I think it's the first time for a while.
wait, say
You
that
know,
again?
it was the first time we had 2 receivers get over 1,000 yards.
Oh yeah, Gallup and Cooper.
Yeah. So when you have multiple targets and you have multiple, like you guys didn't have Jared Cook at the beginning of the season.
You think the way that Sean Payton runs the offense, we're not just a wide receiver team though. That's another thing you gotta think about too. You think we move Taysom Hill out and do read options. We toss the ball to Alvin Kamara a lot. We use Jared Cook now in the tight end spot who's been going off.
You
also
guys-
use Ted Ginn in the deep threat.
You
You also have
guys run
Taysom Hill
that-
come in and run.
You guys, and this is what I hate about fucking. You can edit that.
I'm
out.
not that. That'll take forever.
The thing that I hate about football today is, and you saw it from the Eagles, you see a lot of it from the 49ers, you see a lot of it from the Rams, the screen game. The screen game with running.
part of the game.
Screen back with the linebacker.
Stop it
I mean,
if you
tight
can't-
end.
if you don't
the
like
screen
it.
backer with the. I'm just saying.
know.
That is the new. It's like watching high school football.
Well, you know the thing is, that kills me. Dallas can't stop that for their life.
No.
You think, man?
I
You
knew
get
that
you
We
get,
don't have the linebackers.
you
to
get
do
a
it.
small athletic guy back there like an Alvin Kamara or Sanders who can run, and you put some blockers out there, man. Do that all game. Like it's hard for people to stop that.
Look, I applaud him. And don't get me wrong, he's a great receiver.
And I'm not sitting here trying to brag on you, but it's like as a Saints fan, like it's cool to see something like that happen because we never have that.
I just don't think I could say he's the best in the league.
Averages
this
in the playoffs.
Yeah, you hear that, Dad?
2 games.
So,
Though,
no,
2
I'm being
games.
serious. This year, even though he's leading in first place, almost every stat, you truly can't say he's the best receiver in the league right now. Who's
Well,
up next to
I'm
him?
curious. Like, if you had to like, make a list for top 3, who'd you put up there? And you could include Antonio Brown because I would put him in mine.
No, this
you
year
can't.
wise, stat wise, this year.
I mean, if you went off of this year, then sure, Michael Thomas. But
That's my argument this year.
I would still make the case for Odell Beckham, but he's stuck in Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't like Odell Beckham. I don't.
Right.
I
But
just,
I'm not
I just think
talking-
he's too much of a head case.
I'm not talking about like all time.
Not
right
this
now.
year?
I'm talking about just this year wise, stat wise. First, you can't include OBJ this year. He's just had a meltdown the year this year.
He has Baker
no,
Mayfield as his quarterback.
Going off of stats, you got it 100%. You have Michael Thomas down, but if
Even if you take stats away,
No, no.
hands wise,
No.
size wise, route running.
But if I was going to take somebody, and this is just me, someone that can beat you not only across the middle, which Michael Thomas lives and dies with, is across the middle.
Yeah.
Somebody that can beat you over the top, it's got to be someone like a Hopkins. Because Hopkins can give
Yeah.
you over the top.
I see that.
But Michael Thomas is
Michael
a
Thomas
Colston, is a better version of Colston.
A little bit more speed.
Yeah.
But you're talking about like Des Bryant, where he could go up and get those like.
He was a
those
50-50 receiver,
guy.
but he wasn't going to burn nobody.
Yeah.
You know,
Where
that's
Hopkins
actually
gives you speed.
That's actually a good comparison with Michael Thomas. And
He's
Des
a-
Bryant.
he's a Marcus
'Cause
Colston.
Des Bryant will go, not Des Bryant. Michael Thomas will go deep. He's not going to beat you with speed. He'll beat you with
Yeah.
his size, which is like an old school receiver if you
See,
think about it.
My thing is, and this is what I'm trying to get you to understand is, if you go back 4 or 5 years ago when you guys had Meacham, you had all those good receivers there.
Lance Moore.
You
Marcus
never
Colston.
saw one receiver targeted 12 times in a game. And that's what I'm
You
trying
did-
to say
no,
to
you.
you.
did, though. It was
No, you-
Marcus Colston. He leads the franchise.
Yeah, but
not anymore because Marcus
but he
Thomas.
wasn't doing it every week. It wasn't 12 receptions, 12 receptions, 10 receptions.
But you
They
guys,
spread the ball
You
around.
got to think too. We didn't have a good tight end. We didn't have running backs. I mean, we were running like 4 running backs at the time.
Mike
Well,
Bell, Reggie.
I think the biggest mistake that organization made was getting rid of Willie Snead.
That would.
Because I'm still trying
He
to
got
explain
like
this.
he got like a DUI or something, man. They went downhill quick.
If you double team Michael Thomas, you move a linebacker back to take away the middle of the field,
Yeah.
and you have a safety over the top.
Well, it's easy to say, but like he said before, like who's done it? You know what I mean?
But it's gonna happen
every week someone
It's gonna
studies.
happen.
Well, we
But-
could say that until it happens, then we'll say, "Well, I told you so."
But you know what's nice is
I'll give him
I
props for this
feel
season.
fully confident in this. You could say Jared Cook as of the past 5 weeks, the top 10 tight end right now. The way him and
Oh,
Breeze,
I agree with that.
The way him
100%.
and,
He wasn't there the whole
and
season.
going
is
well,
Jason
no,
Witten.
because him and Bridgewater did not have a connection, and then he got
Yeah.
injured. But going into the playoffs right now with a hot tight
I'll
end,
give you that. And I'm not trying to say Michael Thomas isn't good. He is good.
Yeah.
But when you say of all, like the one podcast, you said he's the best of all time.
no,
I can argue
I
stats.
said
Yeah, you can
I
argue
did not. I said
Yeah, you
going
did.
off stat wise, they're predicting him to be the best.
Okay,
That's
we'll have
what
to
I
look
said.
at that again. But anyway.
I never said he's the best of all time because that's not true.
But if I was like I said, if I was building my team and I needed like a slot receiver, yeah, I'll take him.
Yeah.
I'll take him. But if a weapon that can go over the top and do all the things that I need him to do,
But you think there's not many receivers that can do both.
Who would
That.
you rather have, him or Julio?
That's tough.
Michael Thomas,
Julio's-
hands down.
Julio always gets hurt.
Michael
Well,
Thomas.
not as much, but he's always had the injury bug.
That's tough. I mean,
I'll take
it-
Michael Thomas over Amari Cooper. I'll
Well,
take
you
Michael
could say
Thomas over Michael Gallup. I'll take
Odell though.
I'll take
would
I'll
take
take
him
Michael
over
Thomas
Odell.
over Odell.
Listen, I love
I don't know.
Odell,
He-
but it's
he's-
either injury, it's
he's
either
not-
drama.
Okay,
Yeah.
but imagine Odell with Drew Brees.
That'd be amazing.
I think you would have more production than Michael
Odell
Thomas,
is
'cause
getting-
Odell's a household name without Drew Brees.
But Odell's becoming that receiver like an Antonio Brown, like a Randy Moss, like a T.O.
I think
you know,
with
full of
he's
drama.
handled the whole, like, besides his little outburst last Sunday with the coach or whatever, he's handled this whole like season well,
You know,
considering how bad they've been.
And if you
Yeah,
think
but did you
about
see,
it,
was it last week when he threw his
Yeah.
helmet and slammed it into the
I don't-
bench?
I don't
Besides
look at that-
little outburst.
I don't look at that as drama.
Yeah,
I look
it's
at that as a guy that
passion.
wants to win.
Look at Des Bryant. Everyone always said he had like, you know, he was a problem because he started yelling on the sideline or whatever. To me, that's passion. I want to see
Yeah,
that.
when
Yeah.
you look at Odell, I don't see a T.O. I don't see an Antonio Brown.
I see
He
someone who
doesn't
wants to
take
win.
it. He doesn't take it to the media. I see a guy that he's dying to win and he's passionate about it.
He's not punching
No,
holes in the wall.
another amazing stat was AP passed Walter Payton on Sunday with his 111th rushing touchdown in 13-year career. That's pretty awesome.
He's
Yeah,
a
he's
great
good
running back.
He is. You know what's interesting though, Noah? Nobody has been a repeat winner in the NFC East for the title.
Yeah.
in the last 8 years. I think it is 7 or 8 years.
I think it's longer than that.
7 or 8 years.
It might
Just-
be longer than that.
I just got the
I
update.
think it was
that
like 2003.
my phone is at 6%.
All right. Well, worst comes to worst, you got to turn it off.
I mean, how long have we been talking?
30 minutes.
Oh, and another good stat
We
was
might have to cut this podcast very short.
6 300-plus pound linemen have caught touchdowns this year. The previous record was, I think, 2, and that was this is the most since 1975. Oh no, that was 2 Sunday. See, I can't read my notes. 6, and it beat the record from 1955. I guess on Sunday, the Bills and Cincinnati both had linemen that caught a touchdown.
All right, so we had part 1 of this podcast. Now we're continuing the podcast without Noah. My phone was dying, but there's plenty of things to talk about. In baseball, there's a lot of things going on. The White Sox, number 1 improved team definitely right now this offseason. They just signed Encarnacion. They got Dallas Keuchel. They signed that guy that I think is a catcher. But they're now interested in Yasiel Puig, too, which is a very huge thing because if they can get Yasiel Puig, that's just a very young-built team. That's just my opinion. That's also some of the opinions of some of the reporters saying that they're the
gonna be
most
deadly lineup.
improved team. Oh, my, yeah, absolutely. Oh, excuse me. Betances got signed to the Mets, unfortunately, moving down to Queens. But
I think that the Yankees knew a little bit more than they wanted to about.
I think there was
his
something
injury,
going
and they just-
on there, yeah.
Yeah, I think they didn't even make a chance, like make an offer to him or nothing. They just let him walk. So something's going on with him. And I mean, he didn't pitch all year anyway. It's not like I don't want to say they don't need him because you always need a guy like that. But you know, they went a whole season without him.
Yeah. The White Sox are still interested in Nick Castellanos, too, who could play third base. He could play the outfield. He's been playing the outfield a while. So they're really trying to claim that AL Central. Dallas Keuchel, he signed a $55.5 million deal over 3 years. Also, the 4th-year option.
Plus, they got a Jose Abreu coming back.
They also
Nomar
just got
Mazara.
yeah. Who the heck is their? Oh, I can't. Who's the shortstop? I love their shortstop. Can't think of his name right now.
They signed a catcher, Yasmani Grandal.
I'm glad you said his name because I struggled last time. But I don't know. I think the White Sox. They also got Gio Gonzalez also, so you throw him in there. Who didn't do too bad last year, so you throw him into their pitching rotation already. But I don't know. The White Sox are looking good. Blue Jays.
They picked up Gio Gonzalez too.
That's what I just said.
I'm just saying that the Yankees, they
Didn't use him right.
they cut him quick.
They put him in the minors right away too. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a minor leaing deal, and he wasn't doing bad in the minors.
Yeah, but like he came out and lit it up after that. He had a pretty good season.
Yeah. Well, in our division, the Blue Jays, they just signed Ryu. Did I say his name?
Mm-hmm.
Did I say his name?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was an $80 million deal with the Blue Jays. Blue Jays have a good young team. I mean, they 36 games back from the Yankees last year. They played it well in the second half. The Rays and Yankees are really competing for that number 1, number 2 spot. But the Blue Jays, for how young they were and how much they got rid of.
They have a good offensive team, but I still
Yeah.
think they're missing pieces yet.
They don't got Jose Bautista anymore. They don't got Josh Donaldson anymore. They got rid of Kevin Pillar to the San Francisco. But they have a good team that they're building there. They brought up Bo at shortstop. You got who the heck is the third baseman? I'm drawing blanks tonight, man. The
Vlad?
third. Yeah, dude, I'm drawing so
Vlad
many
Guerrero?
blanks
I know.
right now.
It's all right.
I would, if I were them, I definitely would re-sign Justin Smoke, and they still have Sanchez as a pitcher. Now you got Ryu to go with him.
I think Smoke's gone.
I know. I said they should re-sign him.
He's gone. He left.
Yeah, he was always good at first base.
He
with
was
them,
picked
though.
up by somebody, but
The East looks good. The East looks real good.
the next big names that are gonna possibly be moved are Mookie Betts, Francisco Lindor, and Chris Bryant.
I think they said today is the 100-year mark of the day that Babe Ruth went to the Yankees, and they were like, "Imagine Mookie Betts went to the Yankees on this day."
Picked up Johnny Damon from there, so anything can happen. And Boston is a team right now where they're all in with just getting rid of the big chips, and they're trying to get underneath that luxury tax.
Someone that the Blue Jays are also interested. David Price is drawing trade interest from the Blue Jays. He pitched with them the year they went pretty far into the playoffs. He's been injured a lot lately. I mean, when he pitches, he's good, but he made only 16 starts in 2017, only 22 starts in 2019. That's not a lot of starts.
No.
I mean, the guy can pitch. Don't get me wrong. He was a member of the Blue Jays for the second half of their 2015 season when they reached the American League Championship Series. But he's got to be, 30-something now?
Yeah, he's got to be up there.
I wouldn't feel comfortable trading for. I mean, in the Blue Jays case, I mean, I guess that would be pretty cool. Get some veteran experience in there. Maybe you're hoping for the healthy David Price that can get you to another postseason, which would really make the rotation really deadly.
Well, he had a down year though last year.
Well, he can't stay healthy lately.
He had a down year.
He only had 22 starts last year.
The year before, looked good in the World Series, but man.
And now, the Indians are asking for the best offers, but I think they have a set date now for Lindor.
They do.
They want to hear it. If they don't hear anything good, then they're just going to keep him. But
I wanted the Yankees to make a splash here, but I don't think the Yankees are interested anymore. They're after that Harder from I think he's from the Brewers, that closer.
Yeah. I think the Yankees are more interested in just a utility guy to provide depth in case someone gets injured. We have our guys. We have our team. We have a lot of young players. You got the pitching now.
If the Yankees don't get Harder, they're gonna have to go out. They're gonna go after Giles.
Giles.
He's only 25.
I know, but Giles is an interesting guy. Played for the Phillies, played for Houston. Remember when he punched himself in the face?
Yeah. But he
had a pitch.
He had an ERA of 1.84 last year.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. He throws hard too.
It'd be good another guy to fill in for Betances.
What was his story? Didn't he threw sidearm and he was only hitting maybe 90, and then he started throwing over the top and he was hitting over 100 or something like that?
I don't know. I just know he's a big fish.
I don't know how I feel about that. There's still a lot of good free agents out there, and it's crazy. I said last year on the podcast that the White Sox would have not a great year, but a decent year, and they made a run for it. And to see the players that they're getting right now, and if they get Yasiel Puig, who is probably going to look for. I mean, you think about how much money the White Sox have. How every year they've traded a lot of players. They just stacked up their prospects. They got some good pitching prospects coming up too.
No,
they have Adam Eaton. Is Adam Eaton still? No, that's Nationals, I think. Never mind, mixing that up. But
I just opened up my my Yankee page. Did you see this? Chance Adams was sent to the Royals for infielder Christian Perez.
I did not see that actually.
25-year-old Adams was just sent to
Chance Adams
Chance Adams sent to the
prospect
Royals.
that we had for the longest time.
Yeah, he had an 8.53 ERA last year for the Yankees. We're getting a 21-year-old Perez who hit 252 with 11 doubles and 42 RBIs in 117 games last year in Class A.
So we traded a potentially good pitcher for a Class A guy.
I don't know. Chance Adams.
That's them making room for Garcia.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Phil Hughes. They pumped him up. We got rid of, was it Ian Kennedy? We got rid of him, and he turned out to be the stud, and Phil Hughes was just a flash in the pan that didn't pitch well in the majors.
He didn't play bad for the Twins.
He was a fly ball pitcher.
That's not good, Yankee Stadium.
No, not at all.
Especially with that short.
So apparently we just sent him to the Royals for an infielder, which, wow, I'm blown away.
That's basically them saying it. That's probably them making room for Garcia and some of these other guys they want to get up.
I wouldn't be surprised if Garcia starts in the minors.
I would start him off in AAA, depending on how well his spring training goes. That's if they even invite him for spring training.
Yeah.
But I saw that Dodgers pitcher Rich Hill and his wife got arrested at a Patriots game. I think she went in and they wanted to check her purse or something, and he didn't want them to check her purse, and then they were charged for a $500 fine. But I think I don't know. I have the notes, but I was reading it. She had an oversized bag and refused to leave the grounds when they ordered to do so.
I just don't understand why people have to be thick-headed. I mean, they're trying to do their job.
Yeah.
And because they're rich and famous, well, he's rich and famous, they just want to put that front.
They were charged with disorderly conduct and trespassing, but I don't know, man. I don't
understand how it's trespassing if you had tickets to the game.
I think because they technically I guess if the police ask you to check your bag when you go in and they refuse. I mean, technically, if you're refusing them, aren't you at that point trespassing?
I'm not sure. I don't know the law when it comes to that, but spring training kicks off in 40 days.
Do you think about how close we are to pitchers and catchers reporting?
Yeah, I'm having trouble with my computer now.
I can't wait, man. I love spring. I would love to go to a spring training game, but I love and you think about a lot of the big names signed early this year. You think about last year, how long we had to wait for Machado and Harper, and how much we talked about that and tried to predict the teams. But I saw Cal Calhoun, however you say his name, he got picked up by the Diamondbacks, so that gives them some more outfield depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited, man.
My computer just like froze.
Great.
Interesting night in basketball on Christmas Day. I can't believe Golden State absolutely upset Houston. The Sixers, beat a tough Milwaukee team.
You think about this, the Golden State. They don't have Steph playing. They don't have Clay playing. KD's gone. It's just Draymond Green and Russell came back, and the Houston Rockets still can't beat them.
No, and what was the other one? The Clippers. The Clippers are now 2-0 against the Lakers.
That was a good game. It was a really good game. A lot of anticipation on that game, and it played out the way everyone expected it to play out.
I saw it on SportsCenter. The tickets for the courtside, $40,000 for one game.
Who's paying that much money for that?
Celebrity. They had a lot of celebrities there. A lot of celebrities.
Kawhi was asked what it meant to beat LA, and he said it means nothing. The winner of this series isn't going to dictate who's going to win the playoffs. I love his attitude, man. As much as I hate the fact that he beat our Sixers with that crazy shot, he's a great player. He's quiet, and he backs up his game, man. He's a great player. Hands are huge, too.
I know.
But that's all we got.
Yeah, I'm having something's coming on my computer. There's a Windows Defender browser protection that popped up, and it's not letting me close anything. So I don't know what's going on with this.
We recorded the first part of this podcast with Noah, who was in here, and then we had my phone died, so we came back later now.
Well, I saw it. It is a big week for football this week. There are, still have a chance for the Cowboys to get in, but everyone has to play their starters because they're still battling for that number 1 seed in the NFC.
Mm-hmm. Saints, Sean Payton said
all 4 teams are battling for it.
Sean Payton said that he's keeping his starters in because we're still fighting for that number 1 seed. Why would you rest them?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be interesting. A lot of big games, and it's going to be awesome to see if the Cowboys can sneak in.
The Seahawks locker room said a lot of the younger players were like starstruck when Marshawn Lynch walked in. They tried playing it cool, but I mean, could you imagine like my age people? You grew up watching Marshawn Lynch doing his fancy jump into the end zone. He walks in, man, dude. I'd be like, "What's up, man?"
And I love when they interviewed him. He went right back to his normal. Like,
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
He gives no respect to the.
I would hate the media, man.
He gives no respect to the media at all.
The media would frustrate me.
Absolutely not.
I would, especially after a loss. Like some of the questions they probably ask you, I would not want to deal with any of that.
No.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Well. That's all we have for this one.
Mm-hmm. We'll get this up on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google Music. You can follow us on our Facebook page, Everything Goes with T and K, and our Instagram page and Twitter.
Tomorrow's your special day?
Tomorrow's my birthday.
How old are you?
23.
Oh, my God.
I'm hoping we either see Star Wars or Jumanji.
Oh, I don't know. It also is Marissa's birthday as well, so you're not the only sibling in the family that has the same birthday, so
yeah.
We'll see what we can do.
We hope you guys have a great Christmas or had a great Christmas by the time this podcast gets up.
I hope you have a great New Year. I hope this podcast takes off next year.
Yeah, it's been a good year, man. We're coming up on our 1 year in February, but
if things fall right, we should have a big guest on next week. But
we haven't had a guest on in a while.
We've been chasing him for a year now, so it'll be interesting. Interesting if we can get him on. He said he's free in the beginning of the year, so.
I saw Kane doing a podcast from WWE, and I was like, I'd love to get Kane on the podcast.
Oh, speaking of that, we might have connections inside the biggest event in wrestling history, WrestleMania. So those are the things we'll be working on, but hope everyone has a great year.
Hope you guys enjoy this podcast.
It's been a hot minute. Hopefully it won't be a hot minute again, so we can get this up and going and keep doing them.
We hope you guys enjoy this podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.